Hey, thank you so much. Let's give him another hand. You truly are amazing. So today we're really into our Christmas theme today, and I was just thinking, we always have a Christmas tree, and we have a Christmas angel this year. Maybe it's because everything in the world is different, and so CSL is different this year. But the angel actually represents our highest thoughts. So as we focus on the angel this year, that's part of us. That's that divine part of us that knows how to love and how to live in joy and how to give. That's something that we all aspire to even greater than we have ever done before this year in 2020. There was a story about this little boy that I absolutely love. I'm going to tell a lot of my Christmas stories that I tell every year because I love them. No? Yeah, I'm going to do that one. But this one is about this little boy, and he was without a coat on, and it was wintertime in New York, and he's looking through this glass window at a store at shoes. And he's just standing there praying he has some shoes because he only had socks on and no coat. And this lady came up and said, "Little man, what are you doing? It's cold out here." He said, I'm just looking in the window wishing I had some shoes." She took him inside and she bought him some shoes. And she sat there and she washed his feet and put his new shoes on. And this little boy looked up and said, "Are you God's wife?" And I love that story because that's what we are. We are like God's hands and God's feet and God's husband and God's wife because we are that presence of the divine at all times. I'm so proud of the Center for Spiritual Living because this center has donated so many toys. Missy McDonald is helping a couple charities, and they came and picked up toys, the final ones today, and if anybody brings in more, they'll come back and get them. They are helping people that would not be helped otherwise. And so the lady that's heading up Annie Malone's thought she had given out all the toys and was talking to Mitzi and said, "A father came in with 4 children and they have no toys for the kids this year, and I've already given all mine away, so I had to tell him no." And Mitzi said, "No, don't tell him no. I still have toys at my house I haven't delivered to you." So they called up this father, and he came in and was able to pick out toys for his 4 children. And that's what this community has helped to do this year. And loaves and fishes. We gave them canned goods, and we gave them checks and money to be able to help those that literally have no job and no food and no place to live this Christmas. So we were all God's wife and God's husband this year. So as we reflect on who we are that peace and power of spirit. Dr. Ernest Holmes talks about, the gifts of heaven come alike to all. How we shall use these gifts that is all that matters. And it's really not how we use the gifts, but how that divine spirit within us uses the gift. So when you're giving, don't have the attitude of, "Oh, aren't I fabulous, I'm giving?" But have the attitude of, what within me wants to help change the world? What within me wants to give out to the world? Because I know that within each one of us is a voice, is a presence, is an energy, is a force that's always moving us forward. What can I give today? How can I do more today? I'm so proud of my granddaughter, Kayla, who was wearing a dress every day and is sponsoring a nonprofit that helps those that have been trafficking in children. And I'm like, she's 22 years old. At 22, I never even knew you could help other people. I was raising 2 children. And I love the fact that she's out there in the world helping other people and allows me the opportunity to help other people through her. So we don't have to think up these nonprofits. We don't have to think up the ideas. Our job is to find them and donate and help and do what we can to help others. Because truly that is the power of the divine within us. You know, you wonder, how can I live to my magnificence? How can I wake in the magnificence? Well, Jesus the Christ talked about various things. And he said, one of the ways is to love one another. He said, love one another even as I have loved you. Remember when the people of the town wanted to stone this woman because she had done wrong? And he said, stop. You can't stone anybody. Who among you has not done something wrong? So when I ever have the idea that I need to criticize another person, I stop and go, where have I done that same thing? When have I been thoughtless? When have I been ignorant to the truth? And allows me to forgive and to let go of a judgment. Because Jesus said, judge not others. And he also said, forgive. He said, don't forgive just 7 times. Forgive 70 times 7. You know what that means? Does anybody know? A lot. Yeah, it means a lot. He said, just don't think you're off the hook by just forgiving 7 times. He said, you keep doing the forgiveness until that person doesn't even enter your mind. And when that person does, it's not with resentment. It's with a feeling of your heart opened. Because, like Jesus said, we all make mistakes. We all do things that we wish we could take back. Well, I have. Have any of you said things or done things that you wish you could have done it differently? Yeah, well, we'll have another chance in the next reincarnation. So just keep imagining, what would you do different? Would you just be more loving? Would you be more kind? Would you be more giving? You know, when I was in my 20s, I learned about reincarnation. And I grew up Catholic, so I kind of thought maybe the nuns knew it and just didn't tell me. And I still kind of believe that too, that they all knew it. And so when I did learn about it, I thought, well, if there is reincarnation, my job on this plane is to forgive everyone so I don't end up back with them the next lifetime. And that's been my motto. You know, if somebody upsets me or whatever, forgive them. And like Jesus said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Forgive them so that something greater can emerge within me. It's not about them. Forgiveness is about me, so that I can move forward in love, so that I can move forward in peace. Wayne Dyer he says that the definition of forgiveness is the decision or choice to let go of the demand that anything or anyone be any different from what it was or is. Is that good? To let go of the demand that anything or anyone be any different from what it was or is. That's how he defines forgiveness. And really, when we hold a grudge or when we hold something against someone else, it's because we're demanding they be different. We're demanding it be different. You know, in my mind, sometimes I'm like, how can people believe that? And I go, wait a minute, who am I to say how people believe? There are a lot of different beliefs going on in this country and in this world. I seem to think everyone should believe the way I do. That we're divine, we're on a divine mission, that we awaken to our magnificence, there's a spiritual light within us. And some people don't believe that. I mean, I could sit around all day thinking, oh my God, are they ignorant? Misinformed? But then I have to go into forgiveness because I'm demanding that they be different, that they be more like me. Have you ever had that? Do you ever analyze it back down to that thought of, I want them to be different? And you know what? I love this phrase from Larry's grandmother: people deserve to be who they are. I've used that in my life so many times. People deserve to be who they are. And who they are, that they may not realize they're a divine light. Who we are is greater than we ever dreamed possible. So Dr. Wayne Dyer also said some other things. He said, how do you know you've forgiven? When someone can pass unharmed through your mind. That's a good one. Yeah. When you have made the choice to forgive and a person whom you've forgiven starts to pass through and gets harmed, say to yourself, no, I'm not going to go there. I've already forgiven so-and-so or this situation. We can apply these peace principles in our own life and into our home nation. Can you imagine if everyone went around saying, no, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to have thoughts of peace. Well, there wouldn't be any 24-hour news. There couldn't be. Well, wouldn't it be great if there was a 24-hour news station that you turned on and what you heard was what's going on good in the world? I would love it. Would be what? It could be the contest on to who did the best. Yeah, who was the best this week? I love it. Actually, I do think the Christian Science Monitor, that's what they were about. They were a newspaper, and they still may be, that was all about the good news. Are they still going? Yeah. It is about the good news. They have a page dedicated to progress around the world. So everybody needs to download the Christian Science Monitor on their phone. Carry that app. When life is getting kind of heavy, open it up and read what they say. You know, I actually, last week, I deleted every news app on my phone. I was realizing I was getting too intrigued by the psychological profiles that they were presenting me in the news. And I'd wake up in the middle of the night, and instead of going right back to sleep, I'd start reading another profile. And I'd go back to sleep, and then I'd get up and read another one. So when I got rid of all of the news, I sleep so much sounder. If I wake up, I might wake up and play a hand of Yahtzee with people around the world, and then go back to sleep. But I'm not focusing on what's not working in the world. And it has really made me more peaceful. This past week, Larry had a little bit of a scare. He woke up Monday and he was exhausted. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And he treated himself homeopathically, and every day he kept getting better, and then the next day he'd wake up exhausted again. Finally, he took the remedy, like a 200C, that a doctor, homeopath, had recommended for anybody who's exhausted, and he came out of it. And yesterday he was like alive and Larry again. Yeah. Yay! Alive and Larry again. He doesn't know that he wasn't actually... I one day before I left to go out shopping, he was laying on the couch most of the time sleeping. I went up and stood there until I could tell he was breathing, until his chest moved. Because I had never seen Larry exhausted for that many days in a row. And when he came out of it, it's like, thank you, God. I don't have to stand there and see if you're breathing or not. I know you're okay. And I just stayed in prayer the whole week. Even if I am checking his breathing, I'm in prayer, knowing that that divine spirit within him is on a mission to awaken to his magnificence. And maybe through all the sleeping he did, he connected to that divine power even deeper. Because that's what we're here to do. We're here to be that. So we're also here to give the gift of joy. And Ernest Holmes, from the Teachings of Jesus, on page 434, he said this: when we constructively praise and creatively bless, life abounds with love, peace, and joy. Let goodness shine forth. Let us learn to see that everyone is an evolving Christ. Let us rise in the morning with a brighter outlook, a happier expectation, and a clearer joy, looking upon all with love, condemning none, and blessing even those who seek to injure us. Wow, that's his breather on how to give the gift of joy, how to live from joy, from Dr. Ernest Holmes. Wake up in that morning with the blessing of everyone. The blessing of everyone, not just those that are close to you. Isn't it easy to bless those you love? Yeah. It's easy to think good of those that you talk to and you see. It's easy. But I think what Jesus and Ernest Holmes are talking about is what is hard is to bless those that haven't liked you. I know that's kind of hard to believe that there's people that don't like you. Or maybe that haven't treated you as loving as you like. So they're talking about bless those people and know the good for them. A Sufi teaching, past the seeker, as he prayed, came the crippled and the beggar and the beaten. And seeing them, he cried, "Great God, how is it that a loving creator can see such things and do nothing about them?" God said, "I did do something about it. I made you." That's what the Sufis teach. We are the hands and the feet of God. We are here to be able to do good, to help others, to make this life a better place, a brighter place, a place of joy, a place of love. I'm going to give you some quotes from Jesus, because I love this time of the year when Jesus talks about the epiphany and the manifestation, the awakening. And he said, "I of myself can do nothing. It's the Father within who doeth the work." Angels are the intuitive nudgings saying, let go. Just be in your higher path. I had a friend that lived in New Jersey, and she used to say whenever different things would happen, God would answer a prayer. They would say, "Oh my God, I just had a Mary Jean moment." Meaning that something unexpected happened out of that connection with Spirit. So one of the things this holiday season is about compassion. It's about love. It's about cherishing other people. And yesterday I got a phone call from my sister. And my brother, Jerry, was discovered on the couch in his home, and he had passed away. He's 3 years older than I am. Nobody knows what happened. The police said it was natural causes, but they didn't find him till between 6 and 10 days after he passed away. And he's the brother that I spent many years moving into forgiveness. He's the brother that taught me how to forgive until I no longer had anything against him. And I'm sad. Even though he didn't really want to have any connection with me, I'm sad that he passed away alone and that nobody knew for 10 days or more. And these people came yesterday to my sister Sherry's house, and they had known for 10 days. So it's been like 18 to 20 days, and the family never knew. And these people showed up on my sister's doorstep and said, "I have reason to believe that your brother passed away," and told the story as to why they believe that. And I thought, I don't want people to have to die alone on the holidays and nobody knowing they're even gone for 20 days. So if you know of somebody that lives alone, reach out to them. Call them, email them, text them, see how they're doing. It kind of reminds me of my closing story that I want to tell you about Cameron. I'm going to read you the beginning of it because I never did start from the beginning. This is the abridged version I'm going to start with. What a terrible way to spend Christmas. My oldest son, Cameron, had been diagnosed with leukemia the previous June. After surgery, 3 rounds of chemotherapy, and countless other medical procedures, here we were at Duke University Hospital for a blood transplant. A last-ditch effort to save his life. Now, here it was, Christmas Eve. Spending Christmas in the small room on Ward 9200 seemed strange, so different from our usual holiday setting at home. We'd always spent weeks on our favorite holiday project, baking cookies. Now the cookies were sent from family and friends, since I tried to spend all my time with Cameron, helping to ease the long, tedious hours. He had been in isolation for weeks because the chemotherapy and drugs left him with no immune system. When presents arrived in the mail, we didn't wait for Christmas, but opened them immediately. Anything to create a bright moment in that dull and painful time. Always in the past, 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve was the magic hour. This was the time when everyone in my family in Iowa, Wisconsin, California, and Washington, D.C. opened our presents. We all did this at exactly the same time, somehow bringing the family together, even though we lived so far apart. Cameron's father, stepmother, sister, and brother also opened presents at their house at the same time. This year, the magic hour would find Cameron and me in the small, almost bare hospital room, since most decorations weren't allowed in the sterile environment. We sat together listening to the drone of the HEPA filter and the beeping of the 6 infusion pumps hooked to a catheter in his heart, as Cameron waited until 6 p.m. exactly to open the few presents I had saved aside for him. He insisted we follow this small tradition to create some semblance of normalcy, all of which had been abruptly abandoned 6 months earlier. I watched him open the presents. His favorite was a Hug Me Elmo toy. Said, "I loved you," when you squeezed it. All too quickly, Christmas was over, or so I thought. Cameron reached under his bed, and he pulled out a gift for his mother, all wrapped up. She said, "Where did you get this, Cameron? Did the nurses bring it to you?" She says, "No, Mom. I snuck out of the room and I went down to the gift shop." "Cameron, you can't do that." Because, "Well, Mom, I did. I used a cane. I was okay." They found me when I came back, though, because they were looking for me. "But I had this wrapped just for you." And she opened the present, and it was a box of chocolate-covered cherries. He said, "Mom, these are your favorite, aren't they?" She said, "Yes, they're my favorite. Thank you." 3 months later, Cameron passed away from leukemia. And every year, she would send her friends a box of chocolate-covered cherries with this note: "This is my gift to you, a box of chocolate-covered cherries. And when you open it, I hope it will remind you what the holidays are really about. Being with your loved ones, living from kindness, recreating traditions, maybe starting new ones. But the holidays, most of all, are about love." So in honor of Cameron, I'd like to have you come forward and get a little bag. It has 1 chocolate-covered cherry in it, and it has a little note on it from me. If I could get someone to come forward, and who's going to help me bring the trays up? You can just walk around. There's a tray of light chocolate and a couple trays of dark chocolate. So maybe you can even just pass them around and let people take their own bag. We have extras in case there's somebody that you know needs a Christmas gift and you didn't get one for them. Yeah, go ahead and take them an extra little bag. And if they don't have your kind of chocolate on that tray, there's another one coming. I said, I did not want to end our tradition of giving out chocolate-covered cherries. Usually you come forward and I put them in your mouth, like our communion. Yeah, so I'm going to bless those, bless the chocolate-covered cherries to your highest and greatest good. And if you have somebody at home, please take one for them also. Harold, take one for Becca so she can enjoy our tradition too. And somebody has, yeah, trade off if you got the wrong one. Now, I knew that I was not going to cry during that story. I knew it because this morning when I read it out loud to myself, I cried. And I said, okay, I'm over it. I'm not going to cry again, but it touches me. You can put them down. If you have any left in your tray, just put the trays here and anybody can come up afterwards and get them. Thank you. Thank you, Tim, Tom, and Michelle. Just bring your trays here. Just put them there and then people can go up and get one afterwards if they want. So this holiday season, thank you so much for being part of the Center for Spiritual Living. Thank you so much for opening your heart and living from the principles of love, peace, and joy. Thank you so much for letting that power of the magnificent out in all that you do, all that you see, all that you think about. You're a powerful being of light and love. And I bless you for being part of my life. God bless you and Merry Christmas to everybody. Namaste. Thank you. And now it's our opportunity to give. Marcia's going to bring the giving basket up. Thank you, Marcia. I know we told people last week, it's a special time, and I really thank you for helping support the Center for Spiritual Living. I know we have less people, less